stick in the studio and do the phone in. So how can you help today, guys?
Well, phobias are considered irrational, and they don't get any more irrational than custard. You can literally have a phobia to anything. So if anyone's out there and they've got a similar phobia that seems unusual...
Yeah, we'd absolutely love to hear from anybody. You know, phobias are no fun. So if you're struggling, if you've got an unusual phobia, if you want to speak to us, then do give us a call.
All right, give us a call for free on 08000 30 40 44 or download our free This Morning app to get involved. Please get in touch by 11:15 today and you must be 18 or over.
Before all of that, the video of footballer Kurt Zouma drop-kicking his cat has now cost him 2 weeks' wages, a game this weekend and the loss of one of his biggest sponsors.
Well, the RSPCA yesterday issued a statement saying they had taken away his cat, but should he be facing further punishment? And what does the law say about the treatment of our pets?
So we're going to ask Dr Scott and MP Neil Parish that in just a moment. First, though, we are joined by our own This Morning cat lover with his reaction, and he's also a football lover as well. It's Dermot O'Leary.
Oh, hi,
Morning,
Dermot.
guys.
Hi, Dermot. How are you doing?
It's about this.
Very good. Happy birthday, Phil. It's lovely to have you back. Thanks for also providing a mirror for me to do my hair.
Let's talk about this then. You are closely associated with cats. You're a supporter of the cat protection, and so when this crossed your desk for the first time, when you saw this video, what did you think?
To be honest, Phil, I didn't even watch it because I thought when I saw the headline of man kicks cat and then throws shoe at cat and then slaps cat, that's sort of all I needed to see. I thought if I saw it would just end up kind of upsetting me, and I just sort of you don't want to go too far down that route. So, but it's obviously it's just awful and stupid and silly, and he seems like he is mortified by his actions. But it's a question now as to where this goes. It was interesting that West Ham played him, which I thought was odd, given that it sent out mixed messages. In that they condemned his actions, and then but they also played him that night. So that's obviously sent out a mixed message to the young fans of West Ham, who are a brilliant family club. So I guess what's interesting, like you said, the RSPCA have taken away the cats. Now they investigate, and I think the way it works is then they report to the police or the Crown Prosecution Service, and then they see what action's taken. But I guess that's the kind of interesting thing now. For me, I think that the most important thing with all this is education and people learning from their mistakes. So I think that the most important thing that they can do, or he can do, is to he's paid his fine, and it might go further. He's lost his Adidas contract, so I guess now it's all about how he learns and how he can be an example to young kids going forward as to what you shouldn't be doing to an animal, and maybe. He goes to volunteer at Battersea or goes and sees the work the RSPCA do, and sort of, I don't understand melodramatic, but it goes through some sort of rehabilitative process.
And you think sort of rehabilitation and being an example of how to actually conduct yourself around animals is better than, say, a standard prosecution? Because we know that the laws have changed and there is something in place here up to 5 years now, so...
Yeah, I think so. I mean, obviously it depends. If it turns out that, they find out that he's done this loads of times and is a serial cat abuser, then I might feel differently. But if it's a one-off, stupid, impulsive thing to do, then, I'm a big fan of rehabilitative justice, and my sister's a doctor of criminology, and I've learned a lot through her, and it does work. So, I think, you have to believe in rehabilitation.
All right, Dermot.
Thanks,
well, thank you for the moment,
Thank
because let's
you.
talk to,
No worries,
Dr Scott, who was horrified by what he saw.
Yeah, I'm disgusted at the behaviour of this man. This is a guy who has introduced two defenceless animals into his home, who trust him and give him unconditional love. And how does he repay that? By kicking them. And it's not an accident. This is a purposeful act. Swiping the cat off the desk in front of a child, and then it's being filmed by someone who's laughing, and then thinks that it's the right thing to then post that on social media. Like that's something that we should be advocating and saying is a really good idea. I am so disgusted about so many elements of this. And then again, that David Moyes decided that he's going to put entertainment, which is what football is, over the ethics surrounding animal cruelty by playing him. And thank goodness that football fans of not only Watford, but also West Ham, who get vilified constantly, have actually gone, you know, actually, this is not cool, and booed him every time he touched the ball. And it took the supporters to say, why are you playing this guy, for them to then go, oh, OK, maybe, yes, we should suspend him for 2 weeks.
Well, he's been fined £250,000. £250,000 is actually 2 weeks' wages.
Yeah.
So it sounds huge. It is huge,
I don't think
but
it
that's
is.
2
I think
weeks'
it's
wages.
minimal.
Yesterday,
about
Vitality,
finance?
an insurance and investment
really.
firm, said they were suspending their sponsorship of West Ham over the club's decision to play him on Tuesday. A spokesman said, at Vitality, we condemn animal cruelty and violence of any kind. We're hugely disappointed by the judgment subsequently shown by the club in response to this incident.
Yep. Totally agree. And look, we have to go back to the Animal Welfare Act, which I was a government spokesman of in 2006. And one of the main elements of that, it's the principal law relating to animal welfare. And it talks about protecting from pain, injury, suffering and disease. And it defines animal cruelty as causing unnecessary suffering to an animal. I don't care if he's only done this once. I don't care. That is behaviour which absolutely constitutes animal cruelty. And what? So we have to go, it's like it's murder. We'll go, oh, well, only if they murdered for a second time do we then prosecute. Absolutely not. This is behaviour that cannot be tolerated. It was done in front of a child. It's then posted on social media. And this guy is in front of countless children every single day. We just have to, as humans, stop thinking that we're born with sentience and compassion. And the fact that we can behave like this and seemingly get away with it, it cannot be tolerated. We need to start being the custodians of the planet that we should be. And this kind of behaviour, this gentleman as a role model is just not someone that should be allowed to get away with it.
Right, let's speak to Neil Parish now, because you campaigned for a manifesto for cats in 2015. I know you saw the video like everybody else and you feel incredibly passionate about this. You believe that he actually could be in a bit more trouble here and we just need to see what unfolds.
That's right, because I echo the words of both this morning that, you know, we have animals to look after and all the love they give us, and we do not kick them. And so, yes, I think, you know, he is a role model, and so therefore it has to be put right. And he shouldn't have been played by West Ham. And so I think the French also have very strong laws. He could face 4 years imprisonment. And I think, you know, he has to be, I think he can have some rehabilitation. I'm not against that. But I think you'll find we've got to sort of try and put the full weight of the law on him first. I also think he has to sort of properly apologise, because, you see, the trouble with the video is that they're all laughing when they do it. And yes, or afterwards, yes, you can be very remorseful, but there doesn't seem to be much remorse when it was being done. And so, you know, and children are watching this. You know, we want to educate people to look after their animals really well, and most people do. But we can't have footballers behaving like this. And so, you know, West Ham, like I said, should not have played him. And I think we will pursue this. And the RSPCA and the police now have to decide whether they return those cats to him or not, because is he a fit person to have a cat? And, you know, we do have to play this one very seriously, because, you know, there are people out there. I mean, I chair a select committee where we've taken evidence on cruelty. You know, there are people out there, unfortunately, that are cruel to animals. And we have got to really make sure this one comes over loud and clear to people that this is not the way forward. We want, in school, we want, you know, we bring dogs into schools now, don't we? So that those families perhaps are not treating their animals so well. The children see the proper way to treat an animal. And this is the downside for me, not only for the poor cat itself, but the message it sends out. So, you know, we will pursue this one through the sort of French authorities as well as our own. And I think we need to sort of have a firm rule of law on this, and then let's see what he does himself in order put the situation right.
West Ham have issued a statement. Kurt and the club are cooperating fully with the investigation. Kurt is extremely remorseful and, like everyone at the club, fully understands the depth of feelings surrounding the incident and the need for action to be taken. Essex Police say that the investigation has been led by the RSPCA and that they're continuing to work closely with them. And the RSPCA have said 2 cats have been taken for a check-up at the vets and then will remain in our care while the investigation continues. As you say, Neil, MP for Tiverton and Honiton, you know, he is a role model. He's watched and admired by kids, you know, around the world. And for it to have happened is appalling. For it to have been videoed is appalling. For that video to be then posted is astonishing, surely.
I think it's the attitude that I'm so upset about as well, because, you know, it was done sort of in play almost, and this is the horrendous part. And I'm not saying he can't have rehabilitation. I think he can, and I think, you know, if he's got, you know, if you're really strict with the law regarding him, then I think, you know, that will help him to look for rehabilitation, because he, you know, this will damage his career hugely. He's a good footballer. This is not the behaviour of a footballer who is out there, because, you know, much of our younger population love football, quite rightly. They see that, you know, they don't like stuffy politicians like me. They don't look to me. They look to footballers to actually, you know, follow. And this is, you know, this is what worries me for the cat itself and the message it sends. And so I think we've got to be really firm, get a proper, you know, proper law and proper rehabilitation. And also, like I said, and I will repeat it, West Ham had no business whatsoever playing him the other night. They really did not.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you all three
Thanks
of you.
all three of you.
Thank you very
Thank you very much indeed.